Hoarding resources. Yes, that's what we're going to talk about today. Hoarding resources. Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, I get lots of questions about hoarding and resources for hoarding and resources for hoarders. Okay, now it comes from house cleaners who get a job, and when they get to the job to bid the contract or the estimate, they find out that there's more in the house in the shape of clutter and stuff than what they were originally expecting. And so then they want to know, are these people hoarders? Are they just avid collectors? Like, where do you draw the line? And can I just throw stuff out, or am I obligated to save it? All right, these are excellent questions, and today I'm going to share with you my top 10 hoarding resources. All of these resources are either free or they are under $15. So these are books and podcasts and websites that I want to direct you to so that you can get the information that you need. Now, in the past, hoarding was considered part of OCD and kind of a mental illness, if you will. And only in the last decade has it really shown a light on the fact that there is a disease called hoarding. And there is professional help now, and there is therapy and training that is available for people who save stuff. Now, there are varying levels and varying degrees of hoarding, but I want to ask you this question. If right now we went into your bathroom, is there anything in your bathroom that doesn't belong? Okay, now while you're thinking about that, let's think about your kitchen. Is there anything in your kitchen, in the cupboards, in the drawers, on top of the counter, maybe in the pantry, in the broom closet? Is there anything that doesn't belong? The answer is probably yes, right? It's normal to have a little bit of extra stuff that we don't use all the time. Let's think about your bedroom closet. Is there anything in your bedroom closet that's been over there for over a year that you have not worn? The reason I ask the question is because lots of us save stuff because there's a very good reason for saving it. Either we're going to get skinny and we're going to fit into it again, or it's sentimental. We wore this the last time we saw one of our best friends. There are reasons why we keep stuff. And a therapist can help you uncover some of those reasons why and help you change your relationship to stuff. All right, so without further ado, here are my top 10 hoarding resources. All right, if you're not familiar with it, I'm super excited to introduce you to the IOCDF, which is the International OCD Obsessive Compulsive Disorder Foundation. Now, on the onset, it takes about 17 years for people to actually be properly diagnosed with OCD. And this is a website that has everything from different educational resources to help and blogs, and there are expert articles and brochures and fact sheets and handouts. There are OCD newsletters and books and videos. And there's also community programs where they have road races and fundraisers. There's an annual OCD conference and an OCD awareness week. And this is a place where you can connect with other people that are suffering from some of the same issues that you're experiencing. There's also a pediatric outreach program that helps you recognize symptoms in your kids. And it is a suggestion and ways to help teachers and service providers that help kids, like tutors, for example, so that they can be trained properly to help and recognize OCD in children. Then let's say that you need therapy. There are hidden symptoms and there are behaviors that you do that you are unaware of because of the OCD. And so this will help you find the right therapist. There are also support groups where there are other people in your area that you can connect with on a one-on-one basis. And if there are no support groups in your area, there's help and resources on how to start a support group. So there's just a wealth of information that is available to you through the IOCDF, which is a website that I hope you'll take a look at because it is full of information that can help you in your journey. And next up on our list is a book. This is the Hoarding Handbook, a guide for human services. It will open your eyes to hoarding and its effects. You will learn about special challenges, interpersonal aspects of working with hoarders, the hoarding task force, working with service delivery systems, assessment of severity, and risks to self. You'll learn about hoarding and mental health services, hoarding of animals, housing and public health, hoarding and the legal system, medical aspects of hoarding, protective services, the role of professional organizers, services for hoarding, and next steps for help. There's also a hoarding interview, a hoarding rating scale, a clutter image rating, activities of daily living, hoarding scales, stuff inventory, a home inventory index, inspections referral tool, Tufts Animal Care and Condition Scale, all of these helping your loved ones through hoarding issues in one place. The Hoarding Handbook, a Guide for Human Services by Christina Bradiotis, Christina Sorrentino-Schmalish, and Gail Staccati. Another great resource for us is the Clutter Chronicles with Lori Koppelman, who is a professional advocate for human growth. In this podcast series, she interviews Mary, who calls herself a recovering hoarder. Now, until now, Mary has had a private life, and she's opening up about her hoarding issues in hopes of sharing her story with other people who may be going through a similar challenge with their stuff. The podcast creates an awareness of your relationship to stuff, and we all know that when you're aware, you have choices. Anyway, some of the topics they discuss are childhood connections to your stuff, resistance to getting rid of your stuff, the role that procrastination plays in organizing your stuff, how to rein in compulsive shopping behaviors, a look at family heirlooms, and are they treasures or are they just clutter, the art of redefining trash, and so much more. Anyway, run to your nearest podcast app and subscribe to the Clutter Chronicles so that you can join Mary and Lori in the healing journey from hoarding to discovering freedom from stuff. All right, now next up on our list is a company called Address Our Mess, and it's a company that has branches all across the United States. It's a professional specialty cleaning company, and it was started by Jeff Cohn and Josh Rafter after getting calls to come remove stuff from people's homes. So they started this company that handles organizational projects that involve sorting clutter and hoarding items and then removing and helping organize the stuff that's left. And their focus is on the psychological component of the hoarder, which includes no judgment and compassion towards all the families by all of the employees. And they offer their employees continual training and education from top experts in the areas of hoarding. Now, none of their company vehicles have any wraps or any advertisements that would suggest that they are hoarding organizational specialists, so that it respects the privacy of the family. And they specialize also in client confidentiality. So one of the things that sets them apart from just junk removal companies is that their teams are trained to look for items that are valuable to the customer, that would be both monetary value and sentimental value. And then they also have a niche where they deal with charities that will accept duplicate items in case in your house you have 2 or 3 of something and you want to donate your extras to a good cause. So these guys are amazing, and they are members of the Institute for Challenging Disorganization and members of the National Association of Professional Organizers. So they are the top at their game, and I'm going to leave links in the show notes to their website. All right, now next up on my recommended reading list of top 10 hoarding resources is a book written by 3 doctors, and it's called Overcoming Compulsive Hoarding: Why You Save and How You Can Stop. Now, this is a really didactic, in-depth approach into the mind of what we're going to call a saver, which is also a hoarder, people who save things. This book is the first ever written for savers and their families, and it provides an overview of compulsive hoarding and how it relates to obsessive compulsive disorder. Now, in it, it discusses in broad strokes perspectives on the physical, behavioral, and mental aspects of the condition. And you can also use the assessment tools to help decide if you or one person in your family is a hoarder. And there are skill-building exercises that help you determine how to beat the hoarding problem by addressing the issues that come underneath the behaviors. And then also, it's fundamentally a self-help book, but it contains a frank discussion about the need for professional help and how to find that help, and then also what medications have been proven effective for hoarders or savers. So this is really a highly recommended book. It's a fan favorite among hoarders because of the help that it provides. And it just gives you more options, and again, it makes you more aware of the choices you have available to you. So that's Overcoming Compulsive Hoarding: Why You Save and How You Can Stop. Our next resource for you today is a podcast called Hoardiganize. It's kind of a mixture of hoarding and organizing, by expert Rachel Savvy. Now, Rachel is a hoarding specialist and extreme cleaner, and she discusses how to help yourself when you're overwhelmed with clutter. She is the owner of Collector Care Professional Organizers located in the San Francisco Bay Area, and she and her team have been featured on the CBS Sunday Morning Show, The Hoarders Show, and The Lady Brain Show. And the podcast features organizing tips and hacks, as well as true stories from all different sorts of clients that she's worked with. And she covers things like death, taxes, and change, what life coaching has to do with hoardganizing, how to organize and create organization habits, how to be grateful for the collections that you have, and then how to help move your collections onto a happier place. And she talks about clutter-free summer challenges, for example, and all sorts of different fun things that have everything to do with admitting that you love your stuff and then getting the most from your stuff as you move through hoarding to a place of organization. And then there's a really great website called Help for Hoarding. And this is a website that is broken down at a really granular level into small tips and chunks that you can just take one at a time. And it is a definition of hoarding and a definition of clutter. And then it breaks it down from if you're a child of a hoarder and how to recognize the different symptoms so that you can either stop yourself from hoarding or that you can get help for your parents who are hoarders. Then also there's a section on hoarding of food, which is really interesting because lots of people hoard food in their pantries and their cupboards and their garages. Some people even hoard food inside their cars. So it's very interesting. And then also it breaks down to how to start decluttering, and then it breaks it down room by room. So different rooms of your house, how to declutter, and then even at a more broken down level, like drawers and dressers and closets and things like that. So it's just a website chock full of tips. And there are also other resources that are available in the sidebars and the links of this site. So this is one I definitely want you to check out and just browse around and take a good look to see if there are any tips that might just jump out at you, something that you can start working on today. I would be remiss if I did not add in my top 10 list, Decluttering at the Speed of Life, Winning the Never-Ending Battle with Stuff. This is a book by Dana K. White. She is the author of the book and also the host of the podcast series, A Slob Comes Clean. This woman has a fantastical marketing approach, and she's everywhere in the decluttering space. But this book is about her approach to you don't have to live an overwhelmed life by stuff and how to get rid of your clutter for good. Now, she says, in a home where everybody's focusing on minimalism and downsizing and tiny houses, many people have a lot of stuff and they have emotional attachments to their stuff, and it's not realistic for everybody to get rid of all of their stuff. So she's got a humorous approach, and she's got this really approachable attitude, but she has workable solutions that anyone can apply. And some of the stuff in her book includes why you need the book and your unique home and how every home is a little bit different, how to declutter in the midst of real life, what happens when you change your mind and you change your life, and then what happens when you try to break through your decluttering delusions. Then she teaches you how to work on your decluttering issues room by room, and then also how to help others declutter. So it's a fascinating book. It's an easy read. And if you are a member of Kindle, you can get it for free on Kindle Unlimited with your Kindle Unlimited membership. So this is a fantastic book, and I highly recommend it. On my top 10 list of resources, Decluttering at the Speed of Life by Dana K. White. All right, now next up on our list is an incredible book called Stuff. It's a book about compulsive hoarding and the meaning of things by Randy O. Frost and Gail Staccati. Now, I've been recommending this book for a couple of years because of its interest in what it teaches. Now, what possesses somebody to save every scrap of paper that ever comes into their home? Or what compulsions drive a person to sacrifice his or her marriage or career for the accumulation of seemingly useless things? Now, Randy Frost and Gail Staccati were the first to study hoarding when they began their work about a decade ago, and they did not expect that they would end up treating hundreds of patients and fielding thousands of calls from families of hoarders. Now, their book are vivid case studies from their clients that show you how you can identify a hoarder. These would be piles on sofas and beds that make the furniture useless, or houses that can be navigated only by following small paths that we call goat trails. There are vast piles of paper that the hoarders churn but never discard. Even collections of animals and garbage and all kinds of things that they think are perfectly normal, but actually cause chaos in a person's life. Anyway, it's a fantastical book. It's called Stuff, and I'm going to highly recommend this one on my list of top 10 for recommended reading. Now, next up on my list is Miss Clutterbug Cass. Now, she first arrived on the Savvycleaner scene in our top 10 recommended podcasts for 2019. She has a podcast called Clutterbug, and this is her YouTube channel called Clutterbug. Now, Cass has hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube, and she has millions of people that follow her on social media. This woman is killing it when it comes to the decluttering and organizing space. Now, she's very articulate and she's very gracious about creatives who have accumulation issues. And these are people that are collectors, they're savers, they're hoarders. And she takes your information, which is all the stuff that you've saved and all the stuff that's important to you, and she shows you in a very creative way how you can take that and repurpose it so that you get the most from your space and the most from your lifestyle. She also helps you and gives you permission to get rid of those things that no longer are the best representations of you and help you donate them to an important cause that also gives you a feeling and sense of purpose and meaning as you donate your recyclables to someone else. So it's a fantastic YouTube channel. I'm a super big fan. I highly recommend Cass Erson, Miss Clutterbug herself, and this time it's her YouTube channel in addition to her already popular and world famous podcast by the same name, Clutterbug. All right, so that is my list, my top 10 list of favorite hoarding resources. And it's all packaged together in this one video, 10 resources that are free or under $15. So you can pass this video on to a friend because these 10 ideas, there might be one idea or one smidgen of an idea that will make a difference in the life of someone you love. So please pass this on to a friend and please help me keep the world a cleaner place than when we found it.